Welcome to another episode of The Lead Word. We're doing good. We got not in a row, but we got 3 episodes in almost consecutive weeks. We got 1, 2, skipped a week because Trey was a bitch doing push-ups, and then we got 3, so we're good.
I'm getting old, Chad. I'm getting old.
Look, I don't care. I don't care. I'm just saying, as a fat guy, I get a lot of shit for not being in shape and not being an athlete. By the way, I'm an athlete. I'm a fat athlete. I've never hurt myself doing a push-up. I just like to point that out right now.
It was unbelievable.
I could get one, and I'd be good at 240 pounds. I'd get one.
I just felt my entire neck just cramp up. I had a total pinched nerve. Couldn't do anything.
If you want, Trey, if you wanted a week
just
off,
normal
you push-ups. If you wanted a week off, you could just ask me.
Yeah, well, it's not really possible right now, but I appreciate it.
Joining as always, obviously Trey Daubert, and then we have in the back, he's lurking, Mark Izzo. He may pop in and out. You'll see him. I want Mark to be
doing
good. Mark, I want Mark to be. I want him to be engaged.
As do I. Especially with the way he's doing articles, he should be speaking up during the episode.
So we're going to start our NFL training camp series. Well, not really training camp, just NFL preview series, I guess you could call it.
Yeah.
Getting ready for the season. We're 60 days.
We usually do this every year.
Yeah. I think we're 60 days away. I don't know the exact date of the season, but it usually starts that first week of September, last week of August.
We're getting close is the point. Fantasy stuff is coming up. These guys are reporting camp. Preseason's right around the corner. So by the time we get all these, it'll be time for the season to start anyway.
Yeah. Which is perfect timing.
Yeah. So we're going to do the AFC East today. Chad, I don't think there will be much disagreement here. Buffalo Bills are probably the favorites. Not heavy favorites. Slight favorites.
I don't know. Yeah, I would have to imagine they're probably going to win it. Miami's probably fighting for second place because I don't think the Jets are going to be good. The Patriots, I don't know. I guess that depends on Mac Jones, but I don't know. I'm not everybody's oh, Mac Jones, but I feel like I'm the person that's not. I'm not really in on Mac Jones yet.
I just looked it up.
I feel the way about Mac. The way I feel about Mac Jones is the way everyone else feels about Tua, and then the way everyone feels about Mac Jones, I feel about Tua. I'm the opposite.
Let's do the Bills first, just so we kind of go in order here. I just looked it up. They're minus 225 favorites to win the AFC East. About a 2-1 chance. I think that's probably accurate. I think they're probably heavy favorites. The Von Miller acquisition makes them a lot better on the defensive end. Their offensive line's kind of a mess, but more so than anything, I think the James Cook thing is kind of an X factor for them. This is a team that couldn't run the ball at all. If he can really get going and take some pressure off of Josh Allen, I think they legitimately can win the Super Bowl.
So, as far as their offensive line is concerned, I feel like that, obviously that's always a concern when it comes to throwing the ball, but at the same time, Josh Allen's hard to fucking tackle.
Yes, he is.
He gets a lot of comparisons like Big Ben, but honestly, I think he's harder to tackle than Big Ben is.
I'm with you.
Prime, I feel like tackling him is like tackling prime Cam Newton. He's more of an athlete than Big Ben is. He's big body, but he's got wiggle. He can move.
If you go through all my old draft notes on Josh Allen, I use the Cam Newton comparison a lot because he is hard to tackle, and he's not just hard to tackle. That fucker can run. He's a solid 4.7 guy. You're not just catching him either. He's a big body and he's fast too.
Well, and I think that we talk about his athleticism. Remember that he hurdled. Who was it? Anthony Barr. His rookie year. I always think about that play.
Mm-hmm.
When's the last time you saw a quarterback out there hurdling people, and not just hurdling people, hurdling a linebacker as good as Anthony Barr is.
Yeah, I know most people don't agree with me on this. I'll happily argue with it any day of the week. I don't think there's a quarterback in the entire league I'd rather have.
No, Joe Burrow, no?
I mean, you can make a lot of cases for Joe Burrow and other guys, Patrick Mahomes, obviously, but the upside of Allen, I don't think he's done getting better. There's nobody with more arm strength than him. There's nobody harder to tackle than him. There's nobody who's a bigger body than him. If he just kind of puts everything all together and he's doing it more and more each year, I don't think there's a guy I'd rather have.
Would have been Super Bowl champs if it wasn't for overtime against Patrick Mahomes.
Like his physical upside, I just don't know who I'd rather pick.
I don't know. That's a tough choice because he's like really good and like it would be him or Joe Burrow.
He's young too. He's not done getting better.
Yeah. If I was starting
two years ago, everyone blasted him because he wasn't accurate enough.
Yeah, and then they got better wide receivers and they got some talent around him.
He's an alien. He's not close to being done getting better. Like the work that he does every year with Jordan Palmer, you can see the progression in his game every single year. He takes leaps upon leaps every year you see him.
He made Zay Jones good.
He did make Zay Jones good.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think that they're only adding more help for him too. Why can't I think? Gabriel Davis. He's only going to get better too. He's a young receiver that's kind of just starting to find his footing too. If you had another weapon along with Diggs and he's a reliable target, I can't imagine the offensive upside that they have, especially if James Cook is able to help them right away. Because their running game last year is about as bad as it gets.
Do you think that James Cook is going to take over the number one running back spot over Singletary?
I hope so. His receiving upside is there already. As a receiver, he's definitely the best receiving running back option that they have. It's a matter of if is he a 200 carry guy right out of the chute as a rookie? That's probably the question.
If he's replacing anybody, he's replacing Singletary. He's not replacing Zach Moss's role, but Zach Moss just needs to stay healthy.
Yeah, Zach Moss is your short yardage guy. He'll be your short yardage guy.
Do I even still have him on my team in fantasy? I don't even remember.
No, I do.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Oh, I traded him to you, didn't I?
Yeah, I said I'd trade him back to you because I don't have enough roster spots.
That's right.
Yeah.
I gotta set my fantasy. I gotta do my. I got a lot to do with fantasy. I don't even remember who's on my team. I haven't looked at it.
You're in trouble, Chad. You got Hopkins suspended. You got Watson who's going to get suspended. You got some work.
Not yet. He's not suspended yet. And you know what? They said if he does get suspended, he's going to do that thing where you can sue or get like a restraining order on the NFL, and then he postpones the suspension. So
they said if he's suspended for a year, he's going to do that.
We'll see what happens. I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Like, I feel like I'm strong enough where I could eke out a few wins. And then when Hopkins and Watson come back, I feel like I'll be all right. But it depends on how long they're suspended for. If he's suspended for, the year, I don't know. I'll have to play it by ear because I don't know. When he sues the league, then he'll be able to play. I don't know how long that'll last because Zeke went into like week 8 when he sued the league. So who knows?
Yeah. We can look at that stuff when we do our fantasy episode, but I only have one more thing to add on the Bills. I think the Von Miller acquisition is important, but more importantly, I really like their first-round pick of Kaiir Elam. Tre'Davious White has been kind of their savior at cornerback. He's their only real corner they have. Teams know it, and they don't really target him. They do everything in their power to target the opposite side of the field. I think Kaiir Elam's pretty good. He was really good at Florida. His athletic ceiling is pretty high. Remember his brother? I freaked out when they drafted his brother Matt Elam with the Ravens. He's way better than Matt Elam with the Ravens. If you look at some of the interviews he did at the combine, they're all over the internet. It's really impressive stuff. If he can be like a true number 2 corner, I think this Bills defense takes a huge leap. I really think like today I am picking the Buffalo Bills to win the Super Bowl. I truly believe in them.
Oh, I don't know if I'm there on the Super Bowl just yet.
Okay.
I know they'll definitely win the division, and I would say they'll more than likely going to end up back in the championship game. I'll give you that. I don't know if I'm ready to say they'll go to the Super Bowl just yet. Because like I said, even as hard as Josh Allen is to tackle, I mean, that offensive line, like we talk about, like,
that's their biggest problem.
Devin Singletary couldn't get going, but how much of that was because, they didn't have an offensive line to block for the guy? Like, James Cook can be as good as he wants, but if he's getting tackled 7 yards in the backfield as soon as he takes the handoff, like that doesn't matter. Like you're not going to be able to do anything with the ball.
That is definitely the weakest hole on their roster. There's no question about it.
Like I can usually name at least one lineman for like each team. I couldn't give you one for the Bills. I couldn't. Like normally I could give you one at least.
Well, they did make two good additions. Mitch Morse, he used to play for Kansas City, be their starting center this year. That was a good one. And they picked up Roger Saffold. Used to play for the Titans. He's a pretty good player, so that'll help. But they still right tackle is a problem. Deion Dawkins is a pretty good left tackle, but
yeah,
I would say it's probably a B minus offensive line.
Deion Dawkins, that's one. Yeah,
Deion Dawkins
is
pretty good. Deion Dawkins is good. The rest of their guys are hit and miss.
All right. So I guess we're moving on.
Who would you pick as Buffalo's primary threat in the division?
In the division?
Yeah.
I don't know. I it's hard because I feel like it's Buffalo's up here, and then
that's what I'm saying. Like Buffalo's roster is so good. Like even their safeties, Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde, who's got a better safety tandem than them? Their roster is really good.
I feel like they're second, like whoever's second best is like the next guy, number 3. They're not far off. Like they might even.
And can I give you a sleeper on Buffalo? I don't know if he'll even make an impact, and I probably wouldn't bet on it happening. But having OJ Howard as your backup tight end, I mean, what are the chances that he pops and figures it out?
Well, he was okay.
Yeah, he was okay and didn't really get his opportunity, and there was a lot of tight ends there in Tampa.
And I think part of it too isn't not necessarily that he was bad, not necessarily that OJ Howard was bad when he was with Tampa, but it's like they brought in Gronk, and like you're not gonna bench Brady's boy for fucking
exactly.
OJ Howard. Like that's not happening.
Yeah.
Like a future Hall of Famer,
what if he's good?
Tom Brady's best friend, like he's not getting benched.
What if OJ Howard's good? We already know he can block. What if he's actually good?
I think he is good.
Do you think he's gonna be better than Knox?
No.
You think he's gonna surpass Knox?
No, I don't. But having a guy like that as your second tight end, that stuff adds up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly I think OJ Howard's a good player. I just think like he had like 1 year in Tampa, and then Brady was there, Gronk was there. Like we never got to see the guy play. Like he had 1 year in Tampa.
He was hurt last year.
First year he was hurt, wasn't he? And then second year
he was hurt last year too.
Yeah, so like first year he was hurt. Second year he did pretty good for a guy playing in the NFL.
I'm just saying it's an X factor to watch. Like if that guy helps you, I mean it's another thing that adds up. So
yeah,
I would pick Miami as probably the second best team in the division, just after the offseason they had.
I don't know. I still think New England's close with Miami at this point.
Okay. See, I'm not with you there.
I don't.
Yeah, I disagree.
I don't know.
I think
feel
the
like
Dolphins are a strong second.
Well, they lost Xavier Howard, didn't they?
No, they did not.
What I think I thought they lost him. I don't know.
They got a new contract done for him.
I just feel like something about Miami right now. I'm just like I don't know. I don't trust them.
Okay.
They've got Tyreek Hill. Their running back is okay. Offensive line wise, like I'm
still not good. The offensive line still needs help. Yeah.
I mean, defensively, I feel like coming into last year, I felt like they would be better. I wasn't like really impressed with them defensively. I don't know. Maybe that's some of the Xavier Howard drama, like him, like, oh, like fucking trade me or give me a new contract. Like, I don't know. Maybe there was distractions. I don't know. I just feel like I didn't see enough from Miami last year, and adding Tyreek Hill, yes, Tyreek Hill makes you better, but that's only one guy. I don't think like they're super great across the board. Like that's why I said I feel like it's Buffalo. There's like a fucking huge gap, and then it's everybody else in the division.
There's real questions that need to be answered with Miami. I'll give you that. There's a worst case scenario that could happen. What if Tua can't play? I think he's going to make it. I think he's too accurate to not make it. And with the targets that he has, how hard is his job really going to be? Like, He can't throw bubble screens to Tyreek Hill. He can't throw bubble screens to Jalen Waddle. He's got Mike Gesicki over the middle. He's accurate. You have to give him that. The guy throws an accurate football, so I don't think he's going to fail. But if you think he can't play, then maybe this thing goes really south. And their offensive line still isn't good.
I already said, like, I feel the way I feel about Tua is the way people feel about Mac Jones, and the way people feel about Mac Jones is the way I feel about. I think I just said the same thing twice, but you get what I'm saying. Like, I like Tua. I don't think he's going to be the problem.
So
I don't think Tyreek Hill's going to be the problem. I don't think Jalen Waddle's going to be the problem. I think the problem is going to be is when they're going to try to run the ball. I think the problem is going to be is that I'm not like overly enthused about their defensive line. I'm not like overly like their linebackers aren't terrible, but like I feel like outside of like Tua and the wide receivers, Mike Gesicki, I feel like they're just painfully average like everywhere else. And then Xavier Howard's really good on defense.
The other thing is we don't have the question of how is the coaching change going to affect them. Because I'm not saying they're world beaters on defense, but based on the roster they have, they may have actually overachieved. Because I don't know what they were statistically. I can look it up, but I think they were a top 10 defense. And I don't think they have the roster to be a top 10 defense. So you lose Brian Flores. Yeah. You lose Brian Flores. What happens to your defense? Because you hire an offensive coach. We don't really know much about the new offensive or defensive coordinator. There's a chance their defense falls off. I don't know if we have an answer to that yet.
And to be 100% fair, and like I'm not saying anything about like I'm commenting strictly on like what happened with their season. I'm not commenting on any other factors. Like you could talk about, you know, racism, whatever you want. With Brian Flores, like there kind of is a reason why he got fired. Like, yes, did he?
Absolutely.
Did he have winning seasons? Yes, he 100% did. Did his players buy in with Brian Flores? Yes, they 100% did. They loved the guy. But the problem is you can't go 0-4 and 0-5 and shit like that and expect to make the playoffs. Like that's why he was getting fired. If you go,
he got fired because he fired 4 offensive coordinators while he was there. His offense was broken. You can't fire 4 offensive coordinators, have your offense broken, and expect to keep your job. That's how I look at it. He fired 4 offensive coordinators.
That's
you
my
can't
point.
do that.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Like I feel like yes, there's a lot of good things that Brian Flores did, but at the same time, like there's a reason
your offense is broken in the modern NFL, you can't keep your job.
Right, and that's my point. Outside of Brian Flores, there's a reason why this team was starting like 0-4, like the last fucking 3 or 4 years. Like it's because they're not really that like they're good. Like I don't want to say they're bad, but they're obviously not good.
I thought the turning point was when he started Jacoby Brissett in a game because he said Tua wasn't healthy enough and then decided to bench Jacoby Brissett and bring in Tua mid-game. You can't do that. That's just dysfunctional as hell. You can't bench a quarterback, say he's not healthy, and then bring him in halfway through the game. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, he did a lot of things that didn't make sense. Like there's like there were some questionable coaching calls. Like I said, I get why his players were going to bat for him at the end of the year. Like, hey, we want to keep this guy.
I don't know if anyone remembers this. There was a game against the Saints. He ran out of challenges and tried to challenge again.
I don't remember that. No, I don't. But I mean, that feels like it's very on brand for him. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes. Yes.
Like that's like
yes.
You could like if you had told me that like in a vacuum, like, oh yeah, Brian Flores tried to challenge without challenge. But yeah, that checks out.
Yeah. Well, and we're gonna find out how good Mike McDaniel is. With these Shanahan offensive coordinators, you feel good about them, but you never truly know until they get their opportunity. It seems like McDaniel's a smart guy. He went to Yale. He paid his dues. He went through the process. He even worked for the old Mike Shanahan, so he's been there for a long time. If he can be creative with that offense, if he could be another Sean McVay, then I think the Dolphins could be pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, again, I would still have concerns about the defense because, like, I mean, ultimately, we saw what, like we talked about earlier. We talked, Buffalo and the Chiefs in the playoffs. Like, you can score as many points as you want, but if you can't stop them when it matters, then you're going to go home losing.
They do have some guys, right? They do have some guys. Christian Watkins is awesome. Him at defensive tackle, I think he's turning into a star. Xavier Howard's a star already. Javon Holland, a young safety, young nickel corner, however they use him. They use him all over the field. He's fucking good. He's really good. it's beyond that. How many other guys do they have? Jerome Baker's okay. Jalen Phillips kind of had a nice rookie year, but I mean, it's not a defense where you're like, holy
but
shit.
Again, that's my point. Like,
yeah.
Yes, they have some pieces, but I feel like
you go down the list and it's like, okay, Andrew Van Ginkel's our 7th best guy or something like that.
Yeah, like they have some pieces. Like, I'm not questioning the certain positions. I'm just saying, like, I don't think it's enough. Like I said, it's Buffalo, like 1,000 feet of air,
23rd. So maybe
and then everyone
they're
else.
not going to miss Brian Flores as much as we thought. I thought they would have ranked higher than that, just based on watching them.
But I like I said, it's like you have to look at Miami's season as like kind of like two halves. Like, in the first half of the season, they were shit. But then, like, if you look at the second half of the season, they were like top 10 in defensive statistics. But
and
then,
you notice what happened during the second half of the year. They started, and I think I wrote about this in a Tua article I did. They started doing those RPOs, and they really started saying, hey, screw it. We can put Tua's college offense in place. We'll put the RPOs. He's more functional that way. It'll work. And they started winning real football games after that.
But like I said, I think them. I go back and forth with them and the Patriots. Like, one of those two is going to be the second team in the division, and it's going to be close. I feel like it's not going to be like. It's not going to be the disparity between Buffalo and then the second team. It's going to be like they might be tied for second.
Let's do the Patriots now. Your case for New England is Bill Belichick. End of list, though. Which is it's great. Hey, he wins a lot of football games, but they're fucking bad.
Yeah,
I think they're horrible.
I think they're all scheme, and I don't think Mac Jones is good. I don't think he's good.
I think he's better than you think he is.
He gets a lot of credit for being accurate, and like, you know what? Yeah, Mac Jones. I think he like broke the record for like passing efficiency as a rookie like last year
in college football. He did. He broke Tua's old mark in college.
I thought he had it last year in the NFL too. Maybe I was wrong. But when you look at the Patriots offense, it's like every fucking pass is like 2 yards from the line of scrimmage. Like, of course he's gonna be fucking accurate. Like, who fucking cares if you get 2 yards on a pass play? Like, no one.
In fairness to him, McDaniels always loves those short passes. He always loves them. He's no longer there. The biggest problem is, I think they said Belichick's going to call the plays. Him or Matt Patricia.
I don't.
Yeah.
I think they just benefit from Bill Belichick. I think that's it. And I think he'll be enough to keep him in it. But I don't, like I said, they're not good enough to be in like the same conversation as Buffalo.
No. I think we saw that during the last time that they played.
Yeah, so like I said, they might be like second in the division, but like it's not fucking close.
Here's my question to you,
Who cares about second in the division?
I love Bill Belichick as a coach. I think he's probably the best coach of all time, and I'm not going to argue with him, and he gets the most out of his guys. We're not going to argue about that. Their roster's bad. Chad, who are their wide receivers? Can you even name them? This is a weapons league. We saw what Jamar Chase did with the Bengals. Like, these guys matter. Who are their targets? Who's Mac Jones throwing the ball to?
I mean, if they want to trade for Jalen Reagor, I'm okay with it.
Chad, off the top of your head, and I know the answer to the question, but give me the receivers.
It's I mean,
bad.
N'Keal Harry, right?
No, he's not on the team anymore.
I don't know.
Which you don't even have to get into that because he sucks, but whatever. Chad, who are their receivers?
They had Braxton Berrios, but I don't think he's there anymore. Didn't they?
He is not. No, he's not there anymore. He is not there anymore.
Yeah, I think he's with the Jets now, isn't he?
I believe so.
I don't know. I can't tell you.
I believe he just signed a Go ahead. Who are the receivers?
I don't know. I know they have Hunter Henry at tight end.
Yeah.
And they have Jonnu. They still have Jonnu Smith?
They do have Jonnu Smith.
I can tell you who the tight ends are. I can't tell you who the receivers are.
The point is that
tight ends are kind of receivers. Tight ends are kind of receivers.
I guess. The point is, I just have a belief now anymore that it's more and more of a weapons league. It's a 7-on-7 league anymore. You got to have guys that can get open. You got to have guys that can make plays. Their number one target's Devontae Parker, and I'm just not sure he's good.
Oh, that's right. I forgot they traded for him.
And they gave up a 3rd-round pick for him, too.
I'm done on
Devontae
Parker.
So am I.
I used to be in on Devontae Parker every fucking year for fantasy, and he did shit. The one year I didn't fucking get him, and he's like went off for like fucking like
he had one good year.
Good
year. I'll give you the list of the rest of their receivers: Kendrick Bourne, Jacoby Myers, Tyquan Thornton, who's a 2nd-round pick from Baylor, who I don't think is any good, Nelson Aguilar, Ty Montgomery, Malcolm Perry, who's a Navy guy, Matthew Slater, special teamer. That's the list. That's the worst receiving core in the league.
And to be fair, like can you really even count Ty? I know he's technically a receiver, but like no, I feel like most of his NFL career, Ty Montgomery is lined up in the backfield.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe Nelson Aguilar might be okay for Bill Belichick. He fits that get the ball within 2 yards and run with it kind of mold.
Now I will give them this.
He was a high school running back. I feel like some of his best plays when he was with the Eagles, when he actually caught the ball, he was good with run after the catch.
I will give you this. Their defense will probably be fine enough because it's Belichick and he always has a good defense regardless of who he has. Their running backs and offensive line should probably be enough to win some games. They're not going to be dreadful. Ramondre Stevenson was pretty good last year. I think he's going to take a step forward. They still got Damian Harris. They drafted another running back out of South Dakota State, Pierre Strong, who I think is pretty good. Their offensive line looks like this. They brought Trent Brown back. He'll figure it out. He's with the Patriots again. Nicole Strange pick was weird, but I guess he's a starting left guard. David Andrews is a great center. Mike Edwanu, really good guard out of Michigan. Isaiah Wynn, right tackle, pretty good out of Georgia. Their offensive line's good. So they'll figure out a way to win some games, but I just can't see how they're better than Miami.
I don't know. I think it's going to be close. And the weird thing is like the teams that I've said are probably maybe a little bit better than the Patriots. I feel like the Patriots offensive line is probably the best, but they're just not good anywhere else.
Yeah.
It's like everyone else is kind of good everywhere, but then they have a bad offensive line.
And they're slow. Yeah,
well, fuck that. We don't need we don't need to be good anywhere but the offensive line.
I would love to do this somehow. If you combine the 40-yard dash times for their roster, it's got to be at the bottom. They're slow everywhere, including receiver like Parker and Bourne and those guys. They're slow everywhere.
I almost called him Jalen Reagor. Nelson Aguilar is pretty fast.
Sure.
But like
their
I said,
defense is really strong.
Honestly, Nelson Aguilar might have like his best year of his career this year because that's what he does best is catch it, run after the catch.
And as of right now, Donta Hightower is not on the roster. He could be signed back, maybe, but their linebackers are really slow. Mac Wilson's slow. Juwan Bentley's slow. Raekwon McMillan's slow. Mac Wilson's slow. Matt Judon's an outside linebacker, pass rusher guy. He's not fast. All their defense is slow. Every time they play Lamar Jackson, he kills him.
Yeah, Aguilar ran a 4.42. Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, he's fast. But a majority, like Malcolm Butler's listed as a starting cornerback right now. He's not fast either.
I didn't even realize he was back on their team.
Yeah. It's bad. It's not good.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I feel like
Jalen Mills is the other starting corner, Chad.
Who?
Jalen Mills.
Oh. I will give Jalen Mills his credit where it's due. He is slow as fuck, and that's why he gets burnt a ton. He's really good in the red zone though. He's really good.
Their team speed especially on the defensive side of the ball is bad.
But at the same time, like when you look at like the way the Patriots have like historically played defense, like they don't care about giving up big plays. They're built for the red zone. And that's why, like I mentioned, like Jalen Mills, like, yes, he is fucking slower than molasses rolling uphill, but he is really good at defending in the red zone. So, like, when he gets in that short space where he doesn't have to run long distances, he's really fucking good. So, like, and that's why, like we talk about the Patriots defense, like they're always like they always give up a ton of yards, but inside the 20, they actually they shut people down. So, like, maybe the speed doesn't matter. Like, who cares if you're giving up field goals as long as you get touchdowns? I don't know if they'll be able to get those touchdowns, but, like, maybe that's what they're going for.
Let's get to the Jets because Belichick is functional enough to at least stave off the Jets. But do we think the Jets are at least better? They made some additions. People are really praising their draft. People are really high on the draft class that they just had. They basically had 4 first-round picks. And they should be better.
I would say they're better. I would say they're better. But the reason why they're better is because they were so bad to begin with. Like, it was
impossible to get worse. Yeah.
Like, that's
with the amount of draft picks they had, it was impossible to get worse.
Like, that's why they're better. They're better because there's no other fucking way to go. Like I guess technically they could have stayed the same, but like if you're adding pieces, like that should, even if all but 4 of their, all but 1 of their draft picks ends up being an utter fucking bum, like that one guy.
That's the most important thing for them.
What?
Their 4 picks are the most important thing for the Jets. They got to hit on them because their overall roster is not good. Can Sauce Gardner be a number 1 corner? Can Jermaine Johnson be a 12-sack guy a year? Can Breece Hall be a starting running back in the league? Can Garrett Wilson be a true number 1 wide receiver? If they check all of those boxes, they're going to be way better.
Like I said, yes, if they hit on everybody, of course they're going to be way better. But even if they, like I said, it doesn't really matter. Like, even if they get one of those guys, are good. Like, at the end of the day, that one guy makes you better because you were already so bad to begin with.
Are you a Zach Wilson believer?
Yeah, I like Zach Wilson. I like that Zach Wilson likes older, mature women. I like everything I hear and see about Zach Wilson. But I mean, at the same time, like it sort of still feels like too little, too late. You're on the fucking Jets, so get used to not. Maybe he makes 1 playoff appearance his entire career, unless he goes somewhere else after he's done with the Jets. But who knows?
I don't know what to make of the Jets. Everything in my mind just tells me it's the Jets. They'll suck. Who cares? Why even bother? But I mean, they are improving. Like the things they're doing, it's not totally idiotic. Like they have some guys.
I'll give them this. I feel like the Jets are officially better than the Giants.
I think I agree with you. I agree with it.
I'll give them that. But at the same time, it's
that means something. That means something.
Yeah, but how much does it mean?
It means a lot.
Doesn't mean a lot. It doesn't mean a lot. Oh yeah, we're better than the other New York, New Jersey team. Because let's be honest, they play in New Jersey. They're not the fucking New York Jets. They're the New Jersey Jets. Like, we're better than the other New York team. But the other New York team picked, what did they pick? Like 5th overall? Like, so what? We'll get the 6th pick next year? Like, what does that do for you? It's like,
I think their biggest strength is probably defensively. Defensively, they actually have some good players. Quinnen Williams is actually really good. Like, if the Jets wanted to move off of him, I would trade for him in a heartbeat. CJ Mosley is actually good. He's overpaid, but he's actually good. They have some guys defensively, and Robert Saleh.
Did they trade for CJ Mosley or did they sign him?
No, they gave him a ridiculous contract in free agency.
Okay,
he's a good player.
I know. Like, I just remember like something went on with Mosley in Baltimore, where like Baltimore let him walk. That's what it was.
They could have franchise tagged him, which is what I was mad about.
Yeah, that's what it was. I couldn't remember 100% what happened with that, but I was just, I don't know.
And they actually have some running back depth. Like Michael Carter, if he's your backup running back, you can do some things with him.
Yeah.
I think what's going to kill him.
I don't feel like the Jets, like I like, it's hard because it's like I don't want to talk about the Jets because they're still not going to be good.
I'll make one more point on the Jets. This is probably what's going to kill him. Their left tackle sucks. George Fant's horrible. He can't play. Like he's a converted tight end that couldn't make Seattle's roster. If you're a converted tight end that can't make Seattle's roster, you shouldn't be in the league.
He couldn't make Seattle's roster as a tight end, or couldn't make Seattle's roster
as a tackle.
Okay.
He was a tight end. They tried to play him at tackle.
I just wanted to clarify because like those are two completely different scenarios. Like if he was like a tight end that couldn't make it and then committed to a tackle, that would be even worse.
If you're an offensive lineman and Seattle doesn't fucking want you, there's a problem. There's a big problem.
Yeah. When Seattle's like, this guy fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Like, can we? Yeah. I wish we could call Russell Wilson and be like, hey, you remember this guy? Like,
yeah, he can't play. And the right tackle, people don't know what to make of Mekhi Becton. I don't think he's gonna make it. Like he's like almost too fat. Like he's really slow. People get around him. He's overweight. I don't think he's gonna make it. If both of your tackles can't play and it's the Jets, your season's done.
But by the way, when we kind of like earlier in the show when we talked about your pinched nerve or whatever, and we talked about like athletes, like the one thing that kind of pisses me off all the time when we talk about NFL linemen, people are like, oh, they're fat, like they're not. Dude, you got to be an athlete to be an offensive lineman.
Dude, he's like 385 fucking pounds.
Well, I'm just saying, like, you have to be an athlete to be an offensive lineman, especially in the NFL. He is not an athlete. That's
no, he is not.
He's not. Like, like if you look at other, like we talked about, Daryl Dawkins, with Buffalo.
Yeah,
like,
Deion Dawkins. Deion Dawkins is a great athlete.
Yeah, Deion Dawkins, like that's a big fella. I think his playing weight's close to like 325 or something like that. He's a big boy.
We knew he was a good athlete at Temple.
Yeah, but that's my point. He's still an athlete, but his playing weight's like 315, 320.
Yeah, 363. They're probably lying about that.
He's even bigger. My bad. He's even bigger. So like
if his listed weight is 363, he's probably showing up
even
bigger than that.
But
yeah.
He can move. Like, and you see like defensive tackles in the NFL too. Like those guys, like you see sometimes you'll see like one of them do like a backflip, and like that man is like Myles Garrett. I mean, he's all muscle, but he's
this is the problem with Mekhi Becton though. Everyone talks about Joe Douglas. He knows what he's doing. He's this great general manager. He took Mekhi Becton over Tristan Wirfs. I don't think he really does know what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, look. You got to take. Sometimes you just got to take the Howie Roseman approach. Like, if you have enough picks, one of them's gonna be good. Like that's like if you
pass on Tristan Wirfs for Mekhi Becton, you don't really know what you're doing.
Fuck. And again, I mean, we're gonna talk about the Eagles when we talk about the Eagles, but like Howie Roseman, like people are praising his draft this year, but he's known for making questionable decisions.
Well. They're praising his drafts, but at the same time, he could have just taken AJ Brown in that draft instead of Arcega-Whiteside. So,
like I said, I feel like this general manager thing, like it's hit or miss, it's come and go.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you just have to have 12 picks. You know, what are the odds that out of 12 picks, everyone's gonna suck? Like one of them's got to be good. Like that's my point.
Well, we knew about the Arcega-Whiteside thing when he was coming out of the draft. We were screaming that from the clouds that he couldn't play.
I almost cried when they drafted that man. Like, it was rough.
Yeah.
And again, the worst part is like you mentioned AJ Brown. You know, obviously the big one, DK Metcalf, was still on the board at that point.
Yeah.
It's like, but my and like I said, like I don't know, like I don't want to say like, oh, he made one bad pick, he can't be a GM. I mean, there's levels to this GM shit. Like, yes, maybe he made a bad pick, but like next year, like you said,
don't get me wrong,
all four of those first rounders. If all four of those first rounders, if they all hit, we're gonna have the same conversation. We're like, yeah, fuck it. He took Mekhi Becton, but like look at the guys he fucking took last year.
They're in this spot with a decent young core because he was smart enough to trade Jamal Adams. Well, I'm not saying he's a total idiot, but he has some clear misses.
What has Jamal Adams done recently? Like, I feel like I think I have.
That was a great trade for them.
I'm pretty sure over the last 2 years, I had the same amount of picks in the NFL as Jamal Adams does. So like, great, like way to go. Like I don't know, I don't know. Mark, can you look that up? How many picks does Jamal Adams have last year and the year before? Like,
I think I do remember him getting one, but I mean his career interception numbers.
Okay, so he's got one more pick than I do. That doesn't help his case.
In terms of the division standings, I would definitely go Buffalo, clear gap, Miami, another gap, New England, and I think the Jets are closer to New England than you think they are.
No, I don't think so. I
think they are.
See, I have it a little bit different. I think it's Buffalo, like 1,000 feet of crap. New England and Miami sort of similar.
Yeah, 4 total picks.
Yeah.
4 total picks.
And then like another 1,000 feet of crap, and then the Jets, and then 1,000 feet of crap, and then the Giants. So like Well, I would hope he has 0 picks in 2029.
But they got 2 first-round picks and more for him, though. So that was a great move by the
They
Jets.
should have got like a 5th-round pick at the most.
Probably.
Well, no, you know what? That's not fair. Maybe a 3rd rounder because he does a lot in the run game and he does make.
He does. So yeah.
I would say maybe a 3rd rounder, but like 2 first-rounders, I don't know about that.
Anything else in AFC East? I think we covered it.
I would just say that talking about Jamal Adams, like you could tell they've clearly gotten better because Jamal Adams was like the best player on their team when he was with the Jets.
Oh yeah.
Like at least
they're
now,
moving in the right direction.
At least now, like if you were to put Jamal Adams back on the Jets, he might be like the 4th best player. So like they're getting better, but it really
they needed to move him in order to get some of these young guys that they have.
I'm just saying like if you just like went into like Madden roster creator and just picked them up and dropped them back on this current team.
Don't worry. We have a Jets franchise on the YouTube channel. People can go look it up. When I did the series with the Jets, they're horrible. Go look at their roster. It's as bad as it gets.
Yes, but that's my point.
Impossible to win games with them.
That's my point. Like you can tell there's a progression. You can tell they've gotten better because Jamal Adams, like when he was with the Jets, was their best player. Now he's only like their 4th best player. Like if he were to suddenly magically just appear on the Jets roster, like with no other changes, he'd be like their 4th best player. So yes, they've gotten better, but like, I mean, like again, if you're at a 0 and you add 4, you're still only at 4. Like you're like that. Like that's not that much better.
They got a ways to go, but improving. Mark, you got anything? Any notes? Anything on your mind? Anything on the AFC East?
I think that if you look at like the Jets, they have the pieces to be good. And the same thing with the Dolphins. They have the pieces to be good, but we're just going to have to wait and see if everything pans out like it should. I think that
I don't know if I would lump the Dolphins in with the Jets at this point. Like I wouldn't even say the Jets have the pieces to be good yet. I would say like they have the pieces to almost being good. Like they have the pieces they have the pieces to almost be average. Like I feel like Miami could possibly, like I'm not saying they will be, but I feel like Miami will be in the hunt for a playoff spot next year. Like I don't think the Jets are anywhere near that yet.
I don't think you're giving the Jets. I'm not saying the Jets are going to make the playoffs, but I mean, they got Wilson, Breece Hall, who I think is going to be a beast. They have Elijah Moore, and then they got CJ Uzma, who's a pretty good tight end. So I think they do have some pieces to where
they have something.
Like you said, yeah, they got something to work with.
I'm not saying that they don't have
definitely
any pieces.
Improved.
I'm not saying they don't have any pieces. I'm just saying I feel like I wouldn't lump Miami in with the Jets. I feel like Miami, they have a legitimate shot at being a playoff team. Honestly, I feel like the Jets, if they're not going to be a top 5 team, but I feel like they're still picking in the top 10 next year.
I would pick the Jets to finish last, but I think they're closer to New England than you think they are. I don't agree, but the Jets. In fact, I actually think they have a better roster than New England, but they won't finish higher.
If we could fast forward the season and just sim right to the NFL draft, what pick would you give the Jets right now? I'm saying top 10, maybe 8.
This is a great question. I like this question.
I'm putting the Jets back in the top 10. They're picking number 8, maybe 7, if you ask me.
Hold on. So the AFC is tough, so it makes it like the AFC West is loaded. Like the AFC is really hard. If they were in the NFC, I'd feel better about it.
If they were in the NFC, I'd still say they're picking top 10. Maybe 11. I'll give them 11 in the NFC. But they're still near the 10th pick.
Yeah, because even if you win 6 games, you're still picking top 10, which would be an improvement for them.
Yes, that's my point.
They could win 7 games and still pick in the top 10.
Like, and I'm not saying that New England would be a playoff team either, but I feel like they would at least be in the mix.
What Denver won 7 games. I think they had the 9th pick.
I don't know. Off the top of my head, I'd have to look it up.
Yeah, they'll probably still have another top 10 pick.
That's my point.
I think they're getting better.
You're saying New England's going to be in the top 10 too?
Probably not.
That's my point.
They'll pick them around where they did last
honestly,
year.
I do agree with you. I don't know if I would 100%. I would say like roster strength wise, the Jets not super far away from New England.
They might have a better roster than New England.
But I mean, it's Bill Belichick. Like so like New England maybe picks 15. The Jets, I'm gonna give them the 8th pick. I feel like that's
fair.
That's a gap.
That's fair.
That's a pretty sizable gap if you ask me.
That's fair. I'll give that to you. That's fair. All right, Chad. I think we're good. 45 minutes. AFC East. Got a lot accomplished.
Yeah. I still no sponsors, but I guess that's a good place to wrap it up. Unless you guys have any other thoughts, comments, concerns.
I think we're good. Good show.
Yeah, I agree. Well, so if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Lilfooted, LILFOOTED. If you want to talk to Trey on Twitter, at Trey Daubert, spelled just like you can see it on your screen right now. Follow the site. I don't know what the site's Twitter is. It changed. Just search Vendetta Sports Media. It's on the scroll, at Vendetta VSM. That's what it is. You can follow us on Instagram. We're on there too. I don't know the Instagram. I don't spend enough attention to Instagram to know anything about it. You can like us on Facebook. Check out our LinkedIn page. What else? Patreon. We still have a Patreon. Nobody's ever subscribed or donated on the Patreon. You could be the first. I don't know. You could be the first, and I don't know.
Chad, I don't even know how to log into that.
Yeah, Brian Tan set it up, didn't he?
We got to make new tiers for it or something. Reorganize it.
We might just have to wash our hands and just be like, hey, we need to create a whole new Patreon.
Maybe.
But anyway, if you're watching this on YouTube, it's like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit the bell to get notifications and all that jazz. Because we got Court is in session with Jackson Law. What does he do? His 5th episode was posted like today, I think.
Yeah, he just came out with a new one. Some Grizzlies people on it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that was posted today. So check us out on YouTube if you haven't already. And
yeah, the subscriber numbers are going up. Posting a lot of shorts. So
yeah. Other than that, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.